Ding, the first question, of course, I want to ask you is, the Norway Chess tournament is underway. It hasn't been a very easy one for you, and it has been a bit of a comeback of sorts after your world champion and when you had to take a bit of a break as well. How's the comeback been for you? How do you feel getting back and about your game at this point?
Well, this tournament I began slowly, but in the middle of the tournament, I lost 4 games in a row. This really hurt me. From the day before yesterday, finally I began to score points. I began to draw, and it's a good sign. It shows I can get back to the scoreboard. But yesterday I missed some chance. So at least I'm playing much better
You know,
than several days ago.
do you feel a change in yourself from the time you won the world champion to this point? Is there a change you feel in the mental makeup or in the way you tackle an opponent or a competition?
I don't know if it will be because of the title. Because everybody want to beat me now. Yesterday, Fabiano, he chose a very risky opening. He don't want to beat me with black pieces. So I have to do my best to try to avoid losses in such cases.
You know, there are a lot of these comments that have come, you know, with Magnus Carlsen saying that there's something broken, Nakamura saying he's not what I remember of him or the best that he was. Do you somewhere echo their sentiments? Or, you know, I know you came with a witty response saying you're fixing things, but how do you sort of react when you hear your opponents and people whom you've obviously gotten the better of saying such things?
Actually, I don't want to listen to other people saying. They said I'm not in my best shape. They said I have some mental problems, maybe. But I don't want to follow their instructions.
How tough were the last few months personally for you, Ding? When you know you did take a break, and you know sport is hard. Chess is no different from any other sport. The mental toughness that you require to be at the top of any sport is intense. Tell us a bit about what forced you to take a break, and how have you sort of looked within, and how have you worked on yourself to come back out and play the sport again?
I take a long break last year, but considering the results this year, I may have to take another long break to recover from my bad results.
Right. The other question, obviously, I want to ask you is regarding the Indian contenders. So many of Indian players in the top 10. You know, you've got Pragyananda as well, whom you're playing currently at the Norway Chess tournament. D. Gukesh, whom you are set to play later in the year. What are your thoughts, you know, as someone who's also been a premier of, or someone who's sort of set the trend from your own country when it comes to the sport? What do you think of these youngsters from India, and how do you view Indian talent when it comes to chess?
Well, at least India had at least 3 huge talents. They are among world top 10. Um, India, the chess bomb in India, where there are so many young talents, occurs. I know I have a lot of fans in India, but during the matches, they will, of course, support Gukesh.
How are you looking forward to your big face-off with D. Gukesh in particular? I'm sure you'd have followed his game and his performance over the last few months. How do you rate someone like him, and what are your thoughts ahead of that face-off?
Gukesh had a phenomenal rise to the top, to among top 10. He's now among top 10. And yes, I'm looking forward to meet him in the end of the year.
You know, obviously there is a lot of reports suggesting that that face-off has to happen. Maybe India has thrown up its hand as to host that particular contest. Does the place matter at all? You know, there is obviously going to be that Indian, wave, that ambience as well. But does it matter at all, especially when it comes to chess, where it happens or where the face-off happens?
If I can choose, I hope the tournament will be held in the third country, for example, Singapore. I'm not so eager to visit India in World Championship.
Do you feel that there is a sudden resurgence when it comes to Indian talent? You know, there was earlier, it was all about, Russia doing really well in chess. Then it became the American wave as well. You've got someone like, you've got quite a few players from India putting India up. And do you feel that there's a shift in terms of dominance when it comes to the sport itself? And do you feel India is up there when it comes to top quality chess contenders?
There was a question, who will dominate chess world in 2050? Many people say it will be India, but now it shows this year might came earlier when India dominates chess world.
You know, there's something called as the confessions room that we've seen at the Norway Chess tournament. How come you've not have you given your hand at it? Have you tried your hand at it, or it's something that you stay away from?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
I was talking about the confessions room. There's a confessions room, and I think Nakamura keeps visiting that as well. Have you ever considered going into the confessional room yourself, Ding?
Maybe in the last 2 games I will visit confession room once. I haven't been there before. In Western House I have been there once and talk my games, my positions.
At this point, obviously the tournament didn't pan out the way you would have liked it to. What are you telling yourself in terms of how do you look forward? Because do you think at this point you are ready to take on Gukesh when it comes to the big face-off in a couple of months down the line?
There are still a couple months ahead, and there are still many huge important tournaments before the championship. I think if I can avoid the last place in any of the tournament, I may even win this one.
At this point, Ding, what is the one thing do you feel that separates you or puts you apart from someone like Gukesh? Because everybody's interest is around that particular contest, and you would obviously be aware. But what is it that separates you two, you think?
He's a strong opponent. He performed quite solid. He prepared hard, and he's the guy to watch.
And when it comes to chess, just a last question before we let you go. Who's the toughest opponent that you've ever faced so far?
Who is the what?
The toughest opponent you ever faced so far, and why?
The answer clear. It's Magnus Carlsen. He's a goat of chess.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Ding, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you.